Welcome to the True Grime Stories podcast, where in every episode, we'll unravel a new mystery of cleaning business transformation from a grimy mess to a great success. Join me, your host, Jeannie Henderson, as together we dig up cleaning business secrets that you've been dying to know. Welcome, everyone, to our next episode of True Grime Stories. And I am here today with my friend, Jen Rodgers. And Jen, I've been so excited to have you on our podcast because Jen's story is a great one. So you guys,
Thanks.
I'm so glad you're with us today. So Jen is the owner and founder, CEO of Just Peachy Clean in East Volusia County, in like the Daytona Beach, Florida area. Isn't that a great name, Just Peachy Clean?
I love it.
Jen is the wife of an Army veteran. Go Army. My dad was Army too.
Huh.
And she is a mom of two boys. And Jen started out like a lot of us, cleaning because there was a change in her life that she needed to, find another source of income. And a lot of us start out that way. She started out in the vacation rental cleaning industry and has a great journey to share with us today. Her team is absolutely amazing. We were talking about that a little bit before the podcast. So you guys will have to check out how she honors her team on her Just Peachy Clean website. It's really cool. And Jen also now is helping other cleaning business owners in a program that she is calling Profit Pathways, a coaching program. So we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But welcome, Jen. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. This is
Thanks.
so
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a great conversation. I know you've got so much to share. I've enjoyed the conversations that we've had in the past, and I'm always impressed every time I talk with you, Jen.
Thanks.
Just today, right before we started the podcast, I was like, you blew my mind.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's very hard to take compliments, though. So thank you. But I don't even know what to do with them yet. It's weird.
Gosh. Yeah. No, I really admire you so much. And I think that you are a great part of our cleaning business community. I see you, supporting other business owners. And, I'm sure you probably do that right in your community too, right?
Yeah. I love it. We actually are fortunate in the office that we have now. I'm actually sitting in our conference room that we have a space where we can do lunch and learns for local businesses. So we bring in an expert, that's a bookkeeper or a tax accountant or something like that comes in and they talk to local business owners to help them understand the role of a business owner a little bit better. Because none of us go into this to be a business owner. Most of us go in because we're good at something. So we do that thing to make money and then it becomes a business. And then what do you do?
Yeah. And, it just, that resonates so much with me. And I'm sure that our listeners too, that, most entrepreneurs get started because we're good at something and we think we can do it better than somebody else,
Yep.
and none of us ever realize like, this is serious stuff being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Was it a surprise to you? Was it harder than you thought it was going to be?
I can't even explain how much harder than I thought it was going to be. When I originally started, I didn't even start out to be a business owner. I literally started because we needed food on the table and gas in our gas tanks. My husband's paycheck covered the big bills, but there was nothing left. And I had lost my job and he had lost his hours and overtime because of the housing bubble. And so it was strictly out of necessity. We needed food on the table. I was working 4 different jobs, one of them being cleaning vacation rentals. And it just started to kind of snowball from there. And we sat down and made the decision that, hey, I'm going to quit these other jobs that are guaranteed paychecks. And I'm going to try this cleaning thing and see where it goes. And now almost 11 years later, here I am.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations. I mean, a lot of people don't even make it to the 5-year mark when it comes to being an entrepreneur, because it's hard stuff. And you're past the 10-year mark. So that is really cool. I mean, you're part of a very elite group of entrepreneurs once you get past the 10-year mark. So congratulations.
Thanks.
So, the title of this podcast is True Grime Stories. And what that means is that when you get in the cleaning industry, all of us find out that is not all cracked up to what we thought it would be. And it's more than just cleaning, right? We have to know how to do so much more. You mentioned bookkeeping and managing people and, managing, your business, your
And marketing
and
and all the
marketing.
things.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And it's like, oh, wow, I have to learn how to do that. Oh, I have to learn how to do that. So thinking back, in your business, it doesn't have to be way back to the beginning, but what was a time when you found yourself in a spot that, was you were really struggling and you didn't know how you were going to get out of that spot? What would that grime story look like? Or what's that grime scene look like?
Yes. So for me, it was the drudgery of the day to day. I was cleaning so much because I needed to take everything. Probably about 5, 6 years into the business, and
When you say needed to take everything, like you said no, you never said no
to
to,
nothing. I
yeah.
don't care if the house had bugs. I don't care if
Oh
the
my
house
gosh.
was coated in nicotine. Like I needed money. I had a
Mhm.
baby at home, and um I cleaned up until 35 weeks pregnant with my second child and had him at 36 weeks. So like,
Oh,
yeah, we
oh
were,
my god.
yeah, it was a lot. So
Oh, wow.
but then one of my biggest regrets is that I had this brand new baby at home, and I might get emotional now that I'm talking about it. And 3 weeks postpartum, I was back cleaning
Hmm.
because I had clients that called me, and
Mhm.
I can't say no because I'm going to lose that client, and I'm not making any money because I don't have maternity, I'm working
Right,
for myself. So I lost a lot of his newborn stage because I
right.
went back so soon. And
Yeah,
I regret that. It was the decision that needed to be made at the time. We have to do what we have to do, but it's
yeah.
hard thinking back to him being that little and not being there.
Right, well, and a lot of people look at people like you, Jen, and they think, "Oh, Jen's just lucky.
Yeah.
She's just, she's got it all. It's been easier for her." And I mean, that just speaks to how hard it is, right?
It
Like
is,
we
right.
make really big decisions as entrepreneurs and sometimes they are missing out on, really important things in our lives just to keep our business going.
Yeah.
And people who haven't owned a business or they're just getting started, they don't really understand, like we are doing the hard stuff
Mhm.
to like get to where we are today. So the fact that you have sacrificed, that's what entrepreneurs do. That's how they build their empires, right? None of us
Yeah.
start, um, you know, with money just coming at us from all directions. It's like we really have to work for it. And
No,
that,
and I'm a first generation entrepreneur. Nobody in my family was an entrepreneur. I didn't get any tips or advice from them when like I said, when I decided to start cleaning, I didn't decide to start a business. Decided to start cleaning.
yeah,
And
yeah.
when I hired somebody to help me at the end of my pregnancy, it kind of opened up my eyes to, oh, hey, wait, we can take on more clients now with that.
Mhm.
And but still, even with taking on more clients, I thought taking on more clients meant that we would make more money, which was not the case because I didn't know how to pay the person. I didn't know how to price right. I didn't know any of that stuff. I mean, I had a networking meeting earlier this week where I got to present a deep dive, and I brought some photos in of some of the worst houses that I had done. And I'm thinking back on them and I'm going, I got paid pennies for those jobs. We had one house that
Oh,
was I gave myself bleach poisoning at this house because it was a nicotine home. The woman had smoked there for 30 plus years. I don't think she ever stepped out of the house. And the amount of nicotine that was throughout the house, it was probably about 60 labor hours of time
oh.
bleaching walls, cleaning. Like I wasn't doing anything right back then. I had no training. So like
Right, we
again,
don't know, like, how we're exposing ourselves to
no.
chemicals or our team members to chemicals. Yeah, I I remember doing a similar job. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that brings back memories.
Yeah, and so it was taking a toll on my body. It was taking a toll on my mental health, and finally, about 7 years in, I looked at my husband and I was like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, there's never a break. I was constantly in pain, and
Mm.
um,
So you were still cleaning at the 7-year mark.
yeah, 7.5 years was when I finally stepped out of the field.
Okay.
Um,
How big was your business at this point?
so that we closed. I got out of the field that September. That September, we closed 18,000. So we were running about 18,000 a month at that time.
Okay.
Um, And, I had gotten there by myself. I didn't know how to do marketing, so it was all word of mouth, and it all
Mhm.
worked well. But again, I wasn't really making any money because I
And
had hired more helpers, and so it was going out as fast as it was coming in, and I was still literally just paying for like the groceries and the gas in my car with this business.
Right. 7 years in, still just paying for the gas and the groceries, exhausted,
Yes.
wearing yourself out, taking work that isn't really the right fit, isn't
Right.
enjoyable, right?
No.
All
And
right.
like I said, I was in pain all the time. And so my final catalyst, I actually had a call with Debbie. And as soon as I hung up the phone with Debbie, I got a call from my doctor and my x-rays had come back and I actually had a broken collarbone. So I was cleaning houses for 2 months with a broken collarbone. Literally, when I got the call from the doctor, I was shampooing carpets at a condo. And I was like, oh, no wonder it hurts so bad to vacuum and to shampoo. So, because it was my right arm, my right collarbone.
Do
And
you know how you did it?
so I actually slipped and fell at a client's house. I was walking down the stairs leading out of the back of their pool, and they were painted, and it was rainy out, and my foot just slipped underneath me, and it didn't hurt at the time, so I didn't realize that I had done it. And then over the next few days, it just started hurting, and it was such a like small moment. I didn't even trace it back to that. I had to like really think to what I actually could have done to have broken it, and that's the only thing I can think of is that I did it then, and I continued to clean and everything
Wow.
because you push through
That
the
is
pain.
though, that is such like the entrepreneurial spirit right there though. That, we just keep going.
Yeah.
It's like,
Nobody else is
oh,
going to do it.
I just had a big fall, but I just get up and I just keep going, and like we put our pain aside, we put our exhaustion aside, we
Yep.
put our,
Mental health.
finances, our mental health, all this stuff aside because we are driven, to grow this business.
Yeah.
All right. So here you are. And you said you talked to Debbie Sardone.
Yes. Yep. I had my demo call with her, and it was so funny because she was like, all right, let's just talk about a few things. She said, are you still cleaning? I said, well, yeah, I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to, be out less and less, or be out of the field less, more and more. But I said, there's still jobs that need to get done. And she's like, okay, so how many days a week do you work? And I said, well, I try to keep it maybe 3 to 4. Well, if you go out in the field, are you there all day? And I said, well, yeah, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to make it worth it, right? I'm going to work the whole day and make a good amount of money. She goes, okay, so taking like, what do you pay yourself? And I wish I remembered the number, but I don't remember the number. I was like, I don't really have a set number. I just take, when I need money for gas or I need to go buy groceries or something like that, then I will take money. And she goes, just give me an idea. And so I don't even, like I said, I don't remember the number. I gave her a number and she goes, so just let's do the math on just the hours that you clean, not any of the admin stuff you're doing on the other days, no invoicing, no text messages, no emails, none of that stuff. And she goes, so right now you're not even paying yourself minimum wage just for cleaning. And that was kind of my, moment. I went,
Wow.
I'm not even making minimum wage. She goes, would you treat an employee like that? And I was like, no, of course not. She's like, so then why are you doing it for yourself?
That is so eye-opening.
You're right.
Yeah.
I get goosebumps again every time I tell
I
that
just
story
got
because
goosebumps
I
too. I
didn't
mean,
even
like I'm
think about
covered
it.
with them. Yeah. And it's just so eye-opening what we will put ourselves through.
Yep.
Like something we would never expect an employee to do, but we do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
We're like our worst boss, right?
Absolutely. I would work 18-hour days. I'm like, there is no way that I would put any of my team through that. Why did I take it on? Why did I do that? And for pennies, like looking back, pennies.
Oh, wow. That's so eye-opening. And what a, great reminder to all of us. Cause I think we can go back to that in different ways. We can
Yeah.
catch ourselves like overdoing it. Even when your business is growing and successful, if you are burning the midnight oil, is it worth it?
Right.
And
Because there's always something to be done.
there's always, you could work until, into eternity and never be done with all the work, that
Correct.
for sure. So, while this is very eye-opening, I think, a lot of us can relate to your story and where you're at that 7.5-year point where it's like, something's got to change.
Yeah.
So what was like one thing that, once now that you've realized I'm paying myself minimum wage, what was the one thing that got you out of that grime scene that started to kind of solve it for you?
So I know that it sounds super cliche, and I'm sure every CBF member that you bring on here says the same thing, but it really was CBF because, like I said, we go into business not because we intend to go into business. I went into business because I could make money cleaning, and I was good at cleaning. So I did that. And then all of a sudden, I do have employees, and I do have clients that are kind of coming out of the woodwork, and I don't know what to do with them. I have no policies. I have no cancellation policies. I have no bug policies, none of that. And so when I got off the excuse me, when I got off the phone with Debbie, I sat down and I talked to my husband. And I was like, listen, I can try it out for 14 days, money back guarantee.
Right.
And if I'm going to do that, like, I need the time. So I told my husband, I was like, we've got 2 kids. You're responsible for dinners. When I come home, I'm all in. I'm going to, watch the modules. I'm going to get as much of it out of it that I can, because I need to see if it's worth this investment. It's a lot of money. It's not something to take lightly.
Right.
And I sat down and I did it. And 6 days after joining CBF, I went to my first retreat.
Oh my goodness.
A very last minute flight. I slept on somebody's couch at the hotel, and went and spent the 2 days at retreat, 3 days at retreat. And before I left retreat, I signed up. Back then it was CBF for life. You had to agree to continue to do it. I signed up. I was like, I'm in, I'm sold. This is where I need to be in a room full of business owners who are doing the exact same thing that I'm doing, who understand the struggles, who understand what happens when somebody calls out and you've got 10 houses on the schedule that you've now got to shift and figure that out. I just can't even explain it. When I started seeing that other people were doing it and other people were doing it well, it just clicked that if they can do it, why can't I? Why can't I build something like that? Why can't I step back? So, fortunately or unfortunately, I had my injury to like blame some of it on, but immediately when I got that, I was like, yep, I need to be out of the field. And I emailed all the clients that had to have me. And I said,
that had to have me,
yeah,
right?
no other cleaner.
They think that they can't take anyone else.
Correct.
Right.
And I said, I'm injured. I'm out 6 to 8 weeks. I've got to recover. And, I'm going to send somebody else. They're going to do great. I've trained them. And I think I lost, maybe between 3 and 5 clients that when after that 8 weeks was up, and they're like, yeah, but when are you coming back? And I said, now that I've been out of the field and I understand all of the work that I was missing and not doing for the company, I really decided to take a step back and just run the company and do all of that. I think I lost like about 5 clients or so because of that, but they weren't my client anyway.
Right. Not the right client, right?
Yeah.
If they only can take you, not the right fit.
Right.
Well, I think, your story is one that is just so, touching, and it really like digs into my heart, because I feel it, because I went through that as well. Very similar experience. And to that first time that you walk into a room and you are surrounded by, literally hundreds of people,
where I knew one person in the room, and I had only met her face to face when I got there.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah. But to, walk into a room of strangers, but they really aren't strangers, right? They're like your sisters and brothers on the journey. Like all of a sudden you realize like, oh, I don't have to go this alone. There are bunches of other people who are doing the same thing.
Right.
And maybe they're a few steps ahead of me or a few steps behind me, but we have a lot we can share and learn from each other. The power of that community is just, you can't measure the value of it.
No.
It's so priceless. Well, I love this story. I think there's a lot more we can learn from it. So, but I would like to take a break because you mentioned a live event, and we have a live event coming up, and I want to share a little bit about that with our audience. So we'll take a break here and we'll be right back. After 9 incredible years, it's the grand finale of CBF Live. We're going out with a bang, and you don't want to miss it. Join CBF founder Debbie Sardone and hundreds of cleaning professionals for 3 game-changing days packed with insider strategies, powerful networking, and exclusive tools to take your business to the next level. This is your last chance before CBF Live is gone forever. Use my discount code in the show notes and save $100 on your ticket to CBF Live 2025. All right, everybody. There is your invitation. Join us at CBF Live this year, April 2025. And there are all kinds of things in the show notes to help you with that. But let's get back to our interview with Jen Rodgers. Jen, so like inspired by what you've shared so far. And I think a lot of people in the cleaning industry, if they've either been in the industry for a while or they're just getting started, most of us don't realize how hard it is to be an entrepreneur and how hard it is to keep it going. But I love that you found your way out through connecting with others, right?
Yep.
So, you are, you're at your first live event, and you're finding out, oh my gosh, I can make all these changes.
Right.
So when you went home after that, what did you start to do in your business? What were some of the things changes that you started to make right away? I mean, first you got out of the field, which is huge. I mean, I don't think people realize the value of that.
Yeah.
I love that you shared your story about that you were making less than minimum wage. So eye-opening.
It really is. And when I got back, the first thing that I think I did was info dumped to my husband. And I was like, oh my gosh, you just can't believe, like, there was a whole room of people who are just as crazy as I am that like cleaning houses and that wanted to make a business out of this. And then I sat back and I was finishing the modules. And I know everybody says, go through the modules before you start making changes. But it was so broken. I was like, I've got to start doing some stuff now. So the very first thing that I did, because we ran teams, was to do the speed cleaning training and to get away from teams. So we went from teams to solo, which automatically doubles your productivity for the day because you can now send them out to, almost double the houses that they could do as a team.
Can you dive into that a little bit? Because I think some people don't believe that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. So, I mean, when I think back and I would have a team of 2, usually it was a team of 2, and they would go out, they would probably do 2, maybe 3 houses in a day. Right.
Right.
But if I split them up, they're doing 4 to 6 houses a day. So with the same 2, I've just doubled my revenue without adding any new team members and not even realizing how much when they were in a team, how inefficient they are. Because inevitably they're going to talk, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it wastes time, and time you're spending talking is time you're not cleaning, and it's time you're not really getting paid for. And the next thing was the empowered pay, because on along the lines of, if you're not cleaning, you're not getting paid. I want to empower people to get in and out, do the job the best that they can, as quickly as they can, without sacrificing quality, never sacrificing quality. So that they can make the most in a day. If they can push out 4 houses in a day and it's good for them and they like that, absolutely. Then I want to promote that, because then they can our cleaners make amazing money. Like when I tell people in the area, they're like, oh yeah, but how much can a cleaner make? I'm like, do you want to know?
What's your top cleaner making?
So my top cleaner, she has been averaging just over, I think it's right over $1,000 a week, because she's our trainer and she's also a deep clean specialist. But we've created the title of cleaning operations coordinator for her. So she'll go do quality checks, and she will run the deep clean specialist training. She will run the train the trainer. So she has a few more roles and responsibilities for her. But even below that, our cleaners average on a normal week between about $750 up to $900 a week.
Yeah. But I mean, think about that.
In less than 40 hours. They're working about 32 to 34 hours a week making that.
That's the other thing that I think people really need to realize. Number one, I mean, you can make $50,000 a year in a cleaning role.
Yeah.
But it's very normal for people to make $40,000 a year on our teams.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's good money for, people, no matter where they're at, whether they're, single and just getting their life started, or their parent, or we have like people after their kids are gone and they, we've got a lot of those people that like want to go back to work and, earn some extra money. I mean, it's a great job for people all across the board. And a lot of times people don't trust that the solo model works.
It does. Oh my gosh, does it? And honestly, our cleaning techs. So I don't have any of the same cleaning techs that I had when I started CPS, because it's a different model. And it was a very, very big shift. We kept some of them still for about a year or so. but they slowly weed it out. But our cleaning techs really love it because one, if you don't like a coworker, guess what? The chances of you seeing them is very slim to none, right? Like you're not having to spend a day next to somebody that you're really not happy with, or
Right.
feeling the weight of somebody who's not doing their end of the bargain in a house. We had a lot of times where I would have a really phenomenal cleaner that would go in with a teammate and they would call me and they go, I just did 3/4 of that house and they did a bathroom. Like something has to give. And so why are they making the same amount of money on a house when one is working way harder and way, way faster and doing a way better job? And the other one is just kind of milking the clock.
Yeah. And you do see that there's an
Yeah.
imbalance where if those two people were solo, there'd be nothing to complain about because they're just carrying their own weight. There's no
Right.
possibility of them shifting something off to someone else or someone else carrying their weight. So yeah, that's the other thing too, that I think people assume that their cleaning technicians aren't going to want to work in that, solo environment. But really, once they do it for a little while, it doesn't take very long, they're sold.
Right.
Yeah.
And we still have team cleans. I mean, obviously, if we've got a top to bottom clean that's going to be, 10 or more hours, I think ours start about 8 hours. Of course, we're going to send 2 people. Nobody wants you in their house for 8 hours for the whole day to clean. And
Right.
I don't think I have a team member that wants to clean in a house for one house for 8 hours. It's different when you break it up on houses. Like they will clean for 8 hours in a day, but when it's at one house,
Yeah,
it's a
they
lot
need that
harder.
little break, and they also need like that change of location, right? That change of environment
Yeah.
kind of helps to freshen them up again. And speaking from being a cleaner myself, I know that that little ride, whether it's 5 or 10 minutes to the next house, kind of helps you reset. So you came back and you really started to just dive into your business
Yep.
and implement things that are proven success strategies in your business. You really turned things around from
Yes.
what you were sharing with me earlier. So give us a picture of what your business looked like before you started making all these changes and, got out of the field, which becoming mop free is for many people just such a huge, insurmountable accomplishment. I mean,
Yeah.
that's huge all by itself. And then to be making all these changes, what did your business look like before? What size was it? What was it running at? And then where is it today? I know you had a huge year last year, and I'd love to share that with our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started CBF, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really track my financials before. I know for a fact that in September, because that was the year that I started CBF, and they're like, "Oh, you got to know your numbers," and I was like, "Oh, so I guess I need to pay attention." And so I knew my numbers for that September when we joined, and we closed out September at 18,000. That was September of 2021. By December of 2021, so what, 3 months later, we closed 32,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yes.
That's crazy. So you're up about 75% at that point.
Yeah.
Um,
So then
that's
our
so
first full
cool.
year in, so fast forward September the next year, we had grown 131%.
So you more than doubled.
Yep.
It's shocking. And
Yeah.
and I talk to a lot of people in the cleaning industry, and I know you do too. And they'll say, "Oh, we're just stuck. We can't grow." And change is the catalyst. It's like this amazing, we have to change something. If we want things to be different, we have to do something differently. And you went in and you did everything differently.
Yep. I said, I am all in. Something has to change. And yes, that rapid of growth is very chaotic as well, but it was a different chaos. It wasn't oh my gosh, are they all going to show up to clean today? Who's going to call out? Are they going to be mad about their paycheck because I didn't pay well before? All of the things that come with that. I immediately also after joining CBF, immediately got my own personal cell phone. And my old business number became, or my old personal cell phone became the business number because that was the number that everybody had. And so 5:00, that number got shut down and I didn't answer it anymore. And I didn't pick it up until 8:30 the next day. I didn't check text messages. Like,
How did that feel?
It was so refreshing. And I don't know why I felt like I needed somebody to give me permission to do that.
Well, and I think we all do that though.
Yeah.
We think that we have to be available to our clients and our employees around the clock. But what other business does that? Nobody's doing that. But for some reason in the cleaning industry, we feel like we have to be available all the time
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another big move,
It
and
was.
it's really just making these changes one change at a time, that just becomes this huge flywheel of momentum for your growth.
Yeah.
And so I will say this, in my working with people in the cleaning industry all across cleaning business fundamentals and ISSA and just, out there in the world, I talked to a lot of people who in 2024, the needle did not move in their business very much, either almost nothing or, 10% growth, like not anything major. So what was your percentage growth in 2024?
50.5%.
Boom. I mean, that's just amazing. It's just,
I know.
yeah. And so what do you think, is keeping this really strong momentum going for you?
Part of it is having a really good team behind
Mhm.
me in the office who sees the vision and who they're creating their own goals. Like at the middle of the year, I said, okay, I want to end the year with this many cleaning technicians and I want to end the year at this amount. And my office manager, she goes, I want this many technicians, which was higher than my goal. And
I will up your goal.
right. And she had a higher revenue, there's some bonuses
Mhm.
involved, but
Mhm.
she had a higher revenue goal in mind. And I will say that we blew both of them out of the water. So I don't, other than they have the drive and they are pushing and they are, pushing to fill the schedule with priority cleans if we have holes, making sure that we get out there. And one thing, I think it was Coach Beth, I had a call with her and we
Mhm.
sat down and looked at the schedule after being in CBF for a year. And she was looking and she goes, most of your technicians are done by what, like 3 o'clock maybe? And I was like, yeah, it kind of depends on the day. She was like, so let's just do the math on that. Again, math is the
Mhm.
path. That's Debbie's,
Right. Yeah.
favorite saying. She's like, that's about 2 hours a day for every technician in the week that is not being utilized. And
Oh,
she's like, so 2 hours per technician per day per week. What does that number look like? And when she did the number, again, it was another eye-opening moment when I was like, I think it was like it added 300,000 just by not adding another staff person.
yeah.
Just
So
just
I
by
mean, let's just do that number right now because
yeah,
this is some really eye-opening math, um, that I think a lot of people just don't ever take the time to think about it. They think,
right,
oh, my team likes getting off early and it makes them happy. But would they be happier if they made a ton more money? I
right.
like to look at also how much more money the team members make.
Yeah.
Not only does the business make more, but the team members make more. So 2 hours a day. So that's 10 hours a week. And if they work 50 weeks, that's 500 hours.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and, if you're charging in this day and age, let's just say 60 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. So 60 times 500, yeah, 300,000, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, it just, or for one person, it's 30,000,
Right.
right? But if you have 10 team members, it's $300,000 in revenue,
By adding no new staff, you
right?
have
Clean
now
staff.
right, you utilizing the staff that you have and utilizing the hours that you can fill. So we do a 2-hour priority clean, and that's basically where we go in and we will touch up bathrooms or we will touch up the kitchen, clean up the kitchen,
Mhm.
but that's really all it includes. And so we have the 2-hour minimum and they'll go out and do that and fill their afternoon. They're happier because they're getting pushed towards the higher tiers in their pay. They're getting better paychecks. They're getting more tips because they're working more houses and chances are they're going to get more tips. So it's a win-win for everybody. I want my technicians to be happy with their paychecks so that they don't have to have a second job. So they don't have to go, look for other work because they're not making ends meet here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so eye-opening. That's a huge change. And the fact that you just took and I think all of us, if we just take our business and we look at the gaps of what were the hours that we have available that we aren't selling
Mm-hmm.
and how that adds up. I mean, for the technician, I just did the math. That's at least an additional $10,000 in income a year that they have the potential of earning. Everybody could use another $10,000,
Right.
right?
Just by adding a 2-hour clean onto their day.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, congratulations to you and your team. I think we need to have you back and talk about how you built your amazing team. I think
Listen,
that
I learned from the best, Jeannie. You are a great role model for team culture. And I see you at the live events and I go, I want that culture. I want my team to love coming into work. I can't remember who said it now, but the litmus test of whether or not your employees like working for you is how they feel on Sunday evening.
Mhm.
Are they excited about
Right.
Monday? Are they dreading Monday? Do they, all of those
Mhm.
things? I know it's a job still, but I don't want
Right.
people to go, oh my gosh, I hate going to work on Sunday. I want them to go, no, I really like what I do and I really love who I work for.
Right. We have to, it's our job as employers to make it fulfilling. And it sounds like you've really done a great job at inspiring your team members that I was just talking about the other day how um, in our lives, we have a choice when it comes to work. I mean, we all have to work, most
Right.
of us. And the people who don't work actually aren't happy. So we should be grateful for our work. Just look around at the people who aren't working and what they're doing and realize that work is a blessing. But the people who really are winning at life are the ones who turn their work into a business. They're running their own little business inside of your business. My job is like a little business,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm making it as efficient and as profitable as I can. And then that makes everything else work, you know?
Yep.
And so if we can get our employees so excited about their jobs that they feel like they're almost running their own little business inside of our business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurs, so to speak. Well, and it sounds like you have done such a great job at that. Like the fact that they're making their own goals and, exceeding goals,
Yeah.
and where last year so many people struggled to reach their goals and you just like blew yours out of the water 5 times. So that's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that I wanted to talk with you about too is that now you're able to take your success
Mm-hmm.
and help other business owners.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we get so like tunnel vision on our business and like we're living and breathing it and that's all we're doing. And I love that you're kind of expanding and reaching out to other business owners. So share with me, I know you've got a couple different things that you do, but one of them is the marketing
Yeah.
profit pathways that
Mm-hmm.
you're teaching. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So it's kind of a combo. It's really kind of cool what it boils down to, but part of it is coaching kind of on marketing and helping home service businesses kind of get past that hump. Like, okay, how do I know when I need to hire? And how do I
Mhm.
know when I need to market? And how do I know how to market and what works and what doesn't work? And so along with the coaching and the training that comes with it, I'm partnered with Josh Latimer, who created Warplan AI, which is a whole AI software where not only does it track your revenue, you can put your revenue in there, you can set goals and everything, is it helps you actually achieve those goals. So like if you put in a revenue goal of $1 million at the end of the year and you've told the system that every new client brings you this much money a year and every new employee that you have produces this much work and this much revenue in a year, the program works backwards for you and says, okay, you know what, you need to hire. You're not going to make your goal with the amount of team members that you have. Oh, you know
Mhm.
what, now you need to up your marketing because you're not going to get enough clients. You've got a leads gap because it takes so many leads to get a shiny new client. So it's going to tell you how many leads you need to be working for towards to be able to get to that $1 million mark at the end of the year, if that's what you want to do. On top of that, Josh has really done amazing things with it will write blog posts for you. It will do social media. You can plan out social media up to, I think it's like a month or so in advance. It will do like email campaigns for you where it will actually build the campaign. You can base it off of like the nonsense holidays that are out there or like an actual big holiday that's coming up. You can do SEO reports on your own website so you can see what's working on your website and what's not working. You can track your competitors in there. You can track your team. So if you don't have a big CRM that does more than just scheduling, you
Mhm.
can track your team in there and how often you want to connect with them. Your Dream 100, putting that in there, how often you want to connect with leaders in your community and in your area and everything. So it's just a lot to take in and a lot of training that goes with it. But I'm really passionate because like I said before, so many of us just start a business because we're good at a thing. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden you have employees and okay, what does that look like? What do you mean I need to know my numbers? What numbers do I need to know? I don't know how to open QuickBooks. I don't know, what to look at for marketing. I can't afford marketing. How am I supposed to spend money on marketing? And so it kind of ties all of that in together. Because if I can help somebody else make that journey a little bit easier or help walk them through an issue that they're having, because I've been through all of those and knowing the
Mhm.
value of that, I want to be able to do that.
That's so cool. Wow. That is powerful stuff. And it's just so cool to see how one day you decided to clean a house and today you're, out helping people learn how to market their business. It's just such a great, you know, growth trajectory. And
Mhm.
I just, 10 years from now, I can't even imagine where you're going to be, but you're definitely a leader in our industry. And, so I love that you're doing that. It's going to help so many people.
Mhm.
So I'll be sure and share a link to that in our show notes and encourage everyone who's listening to go check out Profit Pathways with Jen because she's very passionate too. So that's the other thing is that, she's not just doing that to make money as a coach. She
No.
does it because it changed her life and, she wants to help change other people's lives too. And it just, all those ripples in the pond that we create when we go out there and give like that. That's so cool.
Can I say
Well,
one other thing about CBF really
mhm,
quick before we
yeah.
end? I hear a lot of people say, well, you experienced such rapid growth in the beginning. And I'm not tooting my own horn or anything like that, but I put a lot of work in the beginning. And I like when I talk to people about CBF or any coaching program, it doesn't matter
Mhm,
what you get into, because people that I meet here locally, I tell them all the time, find a coach in your industry or close to your industry because you just don't
mhm,
understand the value that they bring.
mhm.
But if you're going to do it, do it. It's just like if you join a gym. If you join a gym, you can't expect to get skinny if you never walk in the doors. So
Heck,
when you
right.
join these programs, utilize what they're giving you, utilize the modules, watch the modules, go back and rewatch them. There are times that I go back and watch stuff and I was like, I didn't hear that before because I wasn't in
Mhm.
a place to hear it before. It didn't matter to
Yes.
me then, but now I'm
Mhm.
in a place where it matters. So my biggest piece of advice is whatever you decide to do coaching wise is just actually do it.
Yes. Yeah. And we're constantly signing up for stuff, but we never take the time to stop and implement. And I think that, that is such an important thing. If you want change and you invest in yourself, take what you're given and use it well.
Right.
And you've definitely done that. You've been a great example to so many people. And I love watching your growth and it's very intentional.
Yeah. I don't
It's
want to grow accidentally. I want to grow intentionally. You know what I
yes.
mean? Because
Oh, yes.
accidental growth is chaos. Like
Right.
that's when balls get dropped. That's
That was
when
the first 7.5 years, right?
yeah.
That
Mhm.
accidental growth, right? That you just let happen
Yep.
and how different it is on the other side of that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think that this is a great grime story to share. And I love that solved it through just taking action and being very intentional about what you did and who you sought out and the company that you keep and all of that. So, oh my gosh, this has been so great, Jen. Thank you
Yay.
so
Thanks for
much
having
for
me.
being here on True Grime Stories. And I want to encourage everyone who is listening today to follow Jen, check out her, marketing training program, check out Just Peachy Clean. That just an amazing team. I remember one time we were talking, Jen, and you said something about bleeding peach.
Yes. Yeah, my trainer, she bleeds peach through and through. The one that I was talking about, the cleaning
Uh-huh.
ops coordinator. If she's training somebody and she doesn't feel like they're a fit, she will text us or call us and say they're just not a peach.
Oh, oh, I just love that
I
brand that
know.
you've built there. It's just so beautiful in the way that your people are just like bringing it to life. That is so cool.
I know. It makes me very proud.
Yeah. And if any of you who are listening want to learn more about what we're talking about here, cleaning business fundamentals, or you have questions about CBF Live, there's a link in the show notes to schedule a free call with me. And I would love to talk with you and learn more about your business and how we can help you get out of your grime scene. Thank you for watching this episode of True Grime Stories. Be sure to download, subscribe, share it, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you, Jen. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much. That's a wrap on today's True Grime Stories. Thanks for joining us in uncovering the secrets of cleaning business success. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and download, and check out our show notes for links and info from today's episode, and to learn more about our sponsor, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Join us next time as we solve another True Grime story.